What did that Walmart guy do? Left his kids what?
$4.7 million a piece. They're I think the seventh richest people in the world, in the United States.
Is that right? What other type of stores does he own? Does that got something to do with?
No, he didn't own nothing except Walmart's and Sam's.
Oh,
Sam's. Do you have a strip?
And we got wet and it was hot and we didn't even
Yeah, they have the
dry.
onions back. Well, they
Woods there.
That's to get out.
That's
Okay, I got
a
it.
shot right there.
Yeah, I got it. You can go now.
That's a nice
good,
shot. Yeah.
Good start. When we went to Europe, I made 100 slides. That's what I made slides instead of. Of course, we carried the movie camera with us, and Jimmy used the movie camera, and I made the slides. And I don't know whether you noticed that back there in the backyard that it looks like a bird bath. Now that used to be a fountain. We had a fountain back there, and I had pools. Well, now cookies.
Oh, yes.
Okay, now this is he owns this.
He owns
said-
it.
This is
And his employees can come down here and stay for might near nothing.
Is that right?
But anybody else can come if they got vacancy. Y'all want to go out on the pier and walk out there? It's a long ways out there and see the thing out there. Big, and I assume they still got that building there where you can go up and all that stuff and look around. But we haven't been down there in years.
Now see, all those buildings and stuff are not that and selling all this, souvenirs. But in
Jim? You're a little one. You fish up. They said blues was running this morning for about an hour. Biggest thing.
Honey, there's Bigger's truck.
I worked for that company there.
Did you?
That's and
Look at these places.
Holiday Sands.
now you take the swamp box here. There was nothing between here and Garden City.
Oh, is that right?
That was the last motel on this strand down here.
Oh my. So they really built it up, huh?
Until some. And that's what I said. we couldn't find Ray. Well, he was in Tarboro, but they weren't right. And he had just sold his home house the day before. So I think he must
knew.
have, you know. And instead of putting, they just carried it away. And went back to Tarboro.
The pressure was just too
And when we stayed
just look at just rooms after rooms after rooms. It must be like a zoo on the beach, you know?
we get out there and get the food. And there's the pavilion, you see.
Yeah,
Right
see it
straight
now.
out.
We're gonna have to find a place to park.
Now here is that, well back up in here is the,
Can't turn the left up. We gotta find some place to park though.
you can make a turn here. So what I would do, I would go up to the next street.
Turn around, come back.
Thought Great Hall. They have to
Now what do they do there?
It's nothing.
It's one of those junk shops.
Oh,
You know,
I see.
but that was my landmark that I was looking for.
Uh-huh.
And then after the kids, when Jim and I started coming down by ourselves, where we stayed was right one block over here. Honey, I think you can turn. Because you're going to have to get back on there. Yeah, you can make a left turn.
George, one morning where we're staying,
I will soon as we get there.
Let's look at that old fat woman down there.
And honey, you're driving. You're not supposed to be looking at the fat women.
Well, she had on a bathing suit and she didn't have no holes in the knees.
no holes in the knees. She must have been a little more wealthy.
Well, I had a little bit more money. She's
Yes.
had a bathing suit piece.
Yeah, no holes in the knees.
When I had my bad knee, I could go upstairs twice. And so what I do, I take all the things I need, and I took a plastic wash basket with me up, and then I'd pull it down the stairs full of whatever I needed for the day. Come there, please.
You want to see my cocoa?
There. My camera probably never worked again. It blends in pretty good, don't it? He's moving around now.
He's just barely moving. The other one coming out yet?
You're probably coming this
See that
way.
big Manuvian? See it come moving.
Yeah.
There's a big one.
Oh, there's another one there, George. Maybe they're gonna come and we can get a picture of both of them, maybe.
That one's coming this way. Oh, I see the other one coming over too.
Mm-hmm.
There he's coming up out of
Come on, show your face, dummy.
Is that one still a see white spot right here? Near this, on this side of the water. You see that white
Right
spot?
there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is a very good way to take a look at those teeth. And you want to stay away from the teeth. Okay, there's a number of them right in here. These are actually growing white. There's a lot of planted plants in the gardens, obviously. And there are still wildflowers growing too. And this is one of them. There's a lot of them in the statuary gardens too. Statuary gardens are full of wild plants too. So as I say, this is quite a place. They try to preserve all of the
Trying to repeating that on tape.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. This is the raptor aviaries we're going to go into now, and it's essentially a rehab area. The birds that are in here are...
was listening to me.
See, her right wing is about gone up to out here. The two hawks in the back on the log, one's a red-tailed and one's a red-shouldered. And both of them do not fly either. And I'm not really sure why they can't. Whether they have wings that aren't there or not, I know. It's just the eagle that I know about. And she's only about 6 years old. She's not very old. They're about 4 to 5 years old before they get their black and white coloring. I have no idea.
He was right up here.
Actually, I think you get all the being better here. I don't know. The car won't help you. Well, I'm gonna walk fast. Go ahead. This is the last stop. Because of the ocean and the humidity and so forth.
Quite a few deer.
It can come very quickly and it can go very quickly.
Lots of deer, not only
When the humidity is like it is now, you can expect it because of
It's begonia villa. Oh gosh, I don't know. Those botanical names I
Let
never
me
know.
spell it. B-O-U-G-A-I-N-V-I-L-L-E-A. That, there he goes, honey. Got him?
Yeah.
Oh, look at his tongue or something stick out. There's, look at his tongue. It was his, what is that? It's like a Adam's apple or something.
Boo.
You want me to make him move again?
Yeah.
Huh?
Uh-huh.
Good morning. Y'all gonna care for coffee?
We'll wait out
Our other
park.
folks are coming right there.
He's looking.
Smile, you're on Canada's camera. How you doing?
Yeah, I got it on recording right now. Boy, I can't see from here, can I?
Stand on your head. Have you
I guess
been
it's
having
right
a lot
about
of
there.
cold, rainy weather?
No, it's clear enough.
Is that right?
Yes. It only gets cold in rainy weather Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Why don't you point your finger at those places again where you're coming from?
Okay. It comes from right here,
Okay,
comes across the front,
okay,
and it goes to this port right here.
okay,
You remove that line,
all right,
okay, and replace it with a line that comes from this port
okay,
across and up
so that,
to right here,
okay,
okay? That leaves us an empty hole down here. We fill the empty hole by coming off of this side of the valve down to the empty hole. So actually we're just completing, we're taking this, what we're doing is taking this line, we're breaking it and putting a valve in it.
right. And then that valve operates these two lines going to the stabilizer.
Right.
Yeah, our stabilizer is just like that. Now you're just going through that hole right there.
We have to make the hole, okay?
All right.
The hole is 3 inches back and 3 inches down.
And then you go through this channel along the side of the engine?
Nope,
I
nope.
mean,
You go underneath the cross members,
uh-huh.
and back in the back you go over the top of the fuel tank.
Over the top of the fuel tank.
Yes.
And then behind the seat?
Yes, now when you go over the top of that fuel tank, the hoses want to rub on the engine. Okay? You have to take a piece of tubular insulation and put it around those hoses, or the engine will saw a hole in them.
Tubular insulation.
Yeah, you know, like
Have you got any of that here?
I might have a piece. We used the last we had on a nursery bucket a couple nights ago.
Then it goes under the seat?
No, just it goes over the fuel tank and then runs right down beside, on the right side of the hydrostats. Right here you can see where the hoses go on this machine right here. Down through the bottom here. They should be run up over the top, and they'll just run right down through here. And they'll actually go right through that place right there. It's kind of tight to get them through, but that's where they go.
Okay.
Right
Point
back
to this
to this
spot
area.
again, where it's going through right here.
Okay, it goes through right here.
Okay. All right.
And then they just the lines just relax and come right back through here and go right across the top of that padding right
All
there.
right. Okay.
Cap. Then every time you do it, then you got to pull a pressure check. It's probably why you didn't want to do it, because it's probably
It's
didn't
a
know how to
real
do it.
pain to get
for the
that
first
valve out of
setting.
there to start with.
Oh, it's a nightmare.
So what you could do then, you could take one of the valves and set it up to that and send us.
That's right. Then all you've got to do is take yours out and put the new one in. Now you can get it out. If you take it to a dealer, that dealer's
I
going to
wouldn't
pull
take
all.
it to a dealer.
You can take it to a dealer. The dealer's going to pull all these valves and everything out of there, and it's a major operation. Or you can take you a hammer and a punch, and you can reach down in there and take that relief valve and get it started turning. Then you can get your fingers in there and screw it out with your fingers.
Show him which valve it is, Charlie.
Okay.
You want to see which valve it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Serviceable. You can't buy parts to shim them up. Your dealer can't get parts to shim them up. Okay? If you want the shims for these relief valves, you can't just go to the parts book and order the shims, because the relief valve is not serviceable. I've taken shims out of relief valves that I've saved, and that's what I used to shim them with.
Well, what reason would the guy have had to check ours then, if he can't set it?
Well, in the event the relief valve were defective or not set right at the factory,
Oh, I see.
then he would just take it out and put a new relief valve in at somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 for the valve. Okay, now you're not going to be able to see that thing with your camera. Let's see, that relief valve is way back. See the end of my ratchet? The end of my ratchet, that relief valve is right there.
Way back in there.
Yeah,
Well, how in the world would we get it out?
it's hard.
But we would have no problem.
No, sir, I'll tell you what I do. I stand on my head in here, I put me a light down in there, and I take me a hammer and a long punch, and I stick it right down in there, and I tap that relief valve in the right direction, and I screw it out until the O-ring lets go. Once the O-ring lets go, I can stick my fingers right through here and get a hold of it.
Putting bigger cylinders on the bucket itself would be the only other alternative, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, you can do that, but that's not really an acceptable cure to me. To start with, it's expensive.
And what kind of expense are we talking here? You said 3 hours
Yeah, you're looking at $35 an hour.
plus just an exchange on the valve itself, then,
Yeah.
or what?
Yeah. Whereas a relief valve, you're looking at a couple of $100 for a relief valve.
Okay, I'm willing to go ahead with it.
But see, when you go to swapping cylinders, see, you're so limited up there
Yeah.
in terms of what size cylinder you can put in. You can
Right.
put a larger cylinder, but if you do, you're talking about modifying all kind of stuff to put the larger cylinder in.
Yeah. Okay.
And
Well,
you will find that when you increase the pressure on that relief valve,
uh-huh.
it'll snatch a tree out of the ground.
Well, I'm willing to go ahead with that.
Our man down at the coast, now boy, he was upset. Matter of fact, I had to fly down there. We flew down on a Saturday and went out to his machine and took the relief valve out and swapped it right there. And I had set one up before I left, and he was at I think 2,400 pounds. But now I knew this man was going to be real hard to please, and I gave him 2,750 pounds of pressure, and he was working with a 36-inch compact. And he would have, when he'd get the tree dug, he would have to manipulate the machine around to get the thing to actually roll back and carry the tree. When I left there, he'd pull the tree out of the ground, and if there was roots, he'd pull the roots out with it.
Well, this also increases your lift right here too, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, they both work off of the same valve.
Uh-huh. You guys have already talked to New Holland on all of this, didn't you?
Well, in terms of how much they'll let us put the pressure up, they will let us put the pressure up 10%.
What I'm saying is they're not modifying any of the new machines that they're building.
Not to my knowledge.
Well, that's silly. They build a good machine and then they don't want to allow it to do the work that's supposed to be being done with it.
Well, it will really do the work it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to carry a 36-inch digger.
That's the only reason we bought our machine.
Right.
Because they said it'll take a 36-inch digger.
Right. Your dealer said they.
Right.
Right. But
he
New
pulled
Holland
my
will tell
leg,
you
huh?
that it won't. It's not really a big problem once you know what you've got to do to make it work. I'm thinking, see, the older machines, the 785s, would generally handle a 36-inch compact real well. But the later models, my gosh, they just wouldn't handle it acceptably.
This here is a 785, but an older model.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we've got an older model, and ours has got the Perkins engine in it. And then we bought the newer model, which has got the Ford engine
And the
in it.
new one ain't got as much hydraulic power as the old one, does it?
No, it don't.
Yeah, well, they tell me it does, but I know better.
It don't. It don't.
No, it don't.
And but we put the digger on the new one because the new one is supposed to have had more power, and it's under warranty. That's why we put this our compact digger on the new one.
Let me explain something to you about them things. The new one does have more power. Got more horsepower.
That's what it was. It was the horsepower.
Yeah, it's got more horsepower, but what most folks don't realize, they think, well, I'm going to have more horsepower, I'm going to be able to do more of this, and I'm going to be able to, but it doesn't work that way. You got more horsepower, but you've got the same relief valves in the transmission, the same relief valves in hydraulics, the same everything. All you can do is what those relief valves will let you do. It doesn't matter how much horsepower you've got. Like when you put tracks on one,
Right.
the hydrostats are set at 5,000 pounds of pressure. And it doesn't matter how much horsepower you got. When it gets to 5,000 pounds of pressure, the relief valves are going to kick off and you ain't going to go no more.
We put tracks on ours, and we dug in the spring. Now we got the tracks back off again. And that was another thing: is are we damaging our bearings by having tracks on, or no? Because we were wondering about that.
The only thing, you need to run the tracks with a little slack in them. You don't want to get them too tight. And you
Yeah.
never, ever want to put mixed match tires on.
Okay, we've got the original tires like this, and our slack was about 1.5 inches, maybe. We could raise it up about an inch, and then it would drop down another inch, maybe 2-inch slack.
The way to check it is to lay your board across the top. Need to be 3 inches down to the tracks.
3 inches after the board is on?
From the board to the tracks.
Well, ours wasn't.
They're designed to run loose.
But it will be, because these are new tracks.
What kind of tracks are they?
Long, L-O-G-E-R.
Okay, they need to be tight.
Okay.
We use a grouser, which is designed to run loose, and they're less abusive to the drivetrain.
I never heard of those, so anyway, we got a set of tracks for our case and the New Holland.
You know, your grouser tracks have got wide plates on them, about this wide.
Yeah, right.
Our tracks don't have wide plates.
No?
They've got like 1-inch square bars, and they're about this far apart.
I've seen them somewhere before.
They clean themselves out real well. You don't have the problem with stuff building up inside and over tightening the tracks.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, once it rolls under the tire will push whatever's in there out through the track.
And what's the name of them again?
It's grouser.
Graveler.
Grouser.
Grouser. Oh, okay.
And they have proven to be the absolute best track that I've ever seen. In terms of how well it will move the machine, how well they clean themselves out, and how little damage they do to the drivetrain. Actually, drivetrain damage is a lot of times inconsequential, but downtime is not. You know, when you're right in the middle of your season, you got to go. You don't want to come up with a whole broken drivetrain, and your dealer then has to order sprockets and all the kind of things that go in there.
Well, I suppose that if I buy all that material I need from you guys, I could be able to haul it in that Buick we're driving, I guess.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
We'll just have to rearrange it.
Yeah.
Not much. It'll go in a little box.
Is that right?
Okay. Okay. Can you set me up with all of that stuff then?
Yes, sir. Let me get Charles and give this to you.
Okay. quite a trip here. Have to keep putting my foot on the. Have to keep putting my foot on the brakes. .5 mile speed limit. I'm going 60 now. Must be leveling off.
This is pretty. They say be careful of falling rock. What would you do if you see one falling and there's a car there? Just let it fall on you?
Must have been going downhill about 5 miles, I bet you already. Tunnel, half a mile. Get to go through a tunnel.
Put on your headlights. popped.
Yours just popped?
So we must be going down again.
$55-mile zone, we're going 60 and everybody's going around us. I thought we were starting to level off a long time ago. Tennessee welcomes you. We are entering Tennessee. Imagine how many man hours it took to cut through this rock.
Wow.
You can look up there and see all the grooves where they bored the hole to put the dynamite. That rest stop that we were stopped at was halfway up.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. 'Cause we went down quite a ways before we stopped at the rest stop. And we got back in the car and we started going down more.
And we're still doing it.
Yeah. Still going down. Big screen up there holding a rock.
Yeah, they had some back there too. Oh, I'm getting sleepy. You getting sleepy?
No, not off and on. I better get some more suckers out. Oh, they got a big barricade here to catch the rocks.
I don't recall seeing those kind of things before. Maybe the rock is starting to fall more.
Maybe. More screen.
That screen really helped much? Don't seem like it would.
Just depends on how big the rock was. There, quite a place for a sign. You want to take the camera? Just keep looking through there. Maybe you will get it high enough. It's still got REC on the recording. Don't put it down. Keep putting it up.
Oh, it's still doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I'm getting the road.
Yeah, the road and part of the sides of the hill and trees. Getting a good picture of what you see through there.
I don't see anything great. You know what I mean? I don't see no pretty rock or anything. That would have been pretty good. I should have been looking more in the center of the road, ain't I?
I gotta aim down the center here anyway. Well, we're gonna start going up, are we?
We just got down.
It's starting to go up. Pretty valley over there. Hills Park. We got Gatlinburg Great Smoky Mountain National Park. Well, wouldn't Gabriel like to be here throwing some of them rocks?
Yes, sir.
Somebody moving?
Sure looks like it. There's bicycles and everything. There's gonna be a long mountain. Oh, it's still doing that.
Well, push the button.
You hold the button in all the while you're
No, I
taking.
don't hold it. See, I let it go.
I held it in all the while.
No, don't do that.
And then when I let go, I thought it was done.
You see, REC is still on there. No,
Okay, that's enough of that.
And just what the train here is that rockin' roller coaster. And just up ahead on train's right is that WSM AM. Okay, folks, so on tight. Just up ahead on the train's right is that rockin' rolling roller coaster. It's off at Lamb's Pride and Joy. It's the end of... Just up ahead, folks, is the...
You mean that's the end of the line? That's the end of the line.
well, we go on further if we want to.
One of my kids over here, you know. I got it. Hold on, and I'm gonna put like that, you know. And just real quick look back around. Find that one spot. I said, don't look away from your star. Push down to go.
Yes, man. Just let it stop.
All right.
Hi, Mom.
Okay, go.
Come on, John. Make him talk.